Hey fellow fragrance lovers, Happy New Year. It's nice to be back in front of the camera doing videos again for you guys. 2022 has been a bit of a dry year in terms of scent discoveries for me. And part of that is that I hadn't been as much on the hunt as before, but also I've been very occupied, as you may know, with my daughter. And now things are kind of in a more steady state, if you will. And as part of my goals for this year, I want to make more regular fragrance videos again, and that means also, I'm gonna need to find some good scents to review. And I do have some lined up. I know I always say that, but another thing that I realize is I have to go back to sampling a lot more scents again, because I realize that the scents that I love smelling or that I'm wowed by are not necessarily scents that I end up actually wearing. So, instead of discovering more scents, I end up spending money on buying full bottles. And so maybe, I don't know, do you guys have a goal in terms of fragrance purchases? I want to do, let's say, like one niche purchase at most in a month. I think that's a really reasonable target. And otherwise, just try to learn more and discover scent more. That said, actually, before we move on to the review for today, I wanted to say thank you to all you guys as well for supporting the channel. It's weird to say that it's a small channel and it's always been just a hobby of mine and still is. I just wanted to share my thoughts on fragrance. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm glad that there are people who enjoy the content. So today, I wanted to start off the new year with a review, and we are gonna review a scent that everyone knows, but one that I overlooked. And there's a reason I bought this at this time of year, and we're talking about Spicebomb Infrared. I think just reading online, it seems like it was a pretty popular release. It's not new at all at this point, but I do have to say, whenever I went to Sephora and smelled this, I kind of just brushed it aside pretty quickly and was focused on other things. But I ended up getting a full bottle because I actually bought this as part of the new GQ fragrance boxes that they have, which was a steal, during Black Friday. Already, even if you're not a subscriber to GQ Box, which I am, it was you can go online and check the prices, but it was heavily discounted in terms of what you get for the money you pay. I ended up getting the member price, then also getting the Black Friday discount, and so I cut the price down total to $50 for this 50 ml Spicebomb Infrared. This fragrance from Hawthorne, which is not too different from when we talked about Blue Atlas. It's also a skincare company. They also have come out with fragrances created by some well-known perfumers, including Rodrigo Flores-Roux, who did the John Varvatos series. So this one is called Play Wild and Botanic. Full, again, 50 ml bottle, normally would retail at $60. And then you get these smaller, this one you may or may not know, but I saw this in the department store. It's Isogamma Super by Ellis, fragrance. I think they're based in Brooklyn. And then this another sample of, Koki perfumes. This one is their tobacco scent, I believe. These two I did test, and I was going to do a review altogether on all these, or an unboxing, but I was kind of, not really impressed by these smaller samples or the other bottle, the Play. I mean, it's a good scent and it's a good beginner kind of amber scent, but it was just too expected. It wasn't inspiring for me. This one, just so you know, it's kind of, it'll remind you of a lot of different, generic kind of incense-based, resinous, a bit smoky sort of scent. Yeah, and it is kind of strong, but strong in a synthetic way, and so that's why I didn't like it. Now, Infrared, just to be clear, I think it also smells kind of synthetic, but I was actually really surprised by this as I was wearing it more. first of all, it's so wearable. It's a sweeter scent that's not overwhelming, that's not overly thick or dense. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I think that this is really effervescent, especially in the opening, and then really pops off your skin, and there's a real kind of fizziness to it. And we'll get to spraying it to talk more about it, so we can delve more into it. Um, but yeah, that's what kind of surprised me. Despite this being a sweeter scent, it was very well balanced, and there was something about it that gave it just enough twist from the original Spice Bomb. And yeah, and the extreme version, I would say, is definitely sort of like creamier and denser. So overall, this is something that you can even wear to the office, which I really appreciate about this kind of scent. Now, let me first spray it so that we have some kind of reference. Yeah, this. So first, the really good parts about the scent. I think that this, let me know what you think, but I've come to realize I think this has one of the best, one of the best openings, and the reason is it's got this fizzy quality, especially in the opening, and it kind of gave me. I think it's because of the citruses and maybe lemon, bergamot, that sort of citrus mixed in there. It gives an icy quality and this kind of really spark and a freshness that I really like. And whenever you mix, I think, a lemony note with some sweetness, some vanillic background, I think that's a really pleasant smell. There's a reason why something like Chanel Allure Homme Edition Blanche is so popular, right? That kind of DNA or combination of notes. It's doing essentially the same play of a benzoin, and in this case, there's overall holding everything together is a woody accord, I would say. So you get this kind of aromatic, woody, sparkly type of scent, which is different from the extreme version. That's just more. That's just sweeter and even more kind of festive. And the fizziness, when I first tried this, reminded me a little bit of Paco Rabanne's Pure Excess, which has a really nice, pleasant smell too, but not my personal favorite. But I think it's balanced the same way, where you have a brightness and a sweet undertone coming together really nicely. This one feels more mature and more well-rounded because it has the spice notes in here. It kind of then, so you take that citrus, vanillic element, and then you also mix with that the core of the Spice Bomb line, which is the spices. And here they say, they played on, they used habanero pepper, or that they tried to create that smell. It doesn't really smell so fiery or like, so the hottest version as they kind of advertise. I think it's just a well-balanced version. But when you mix that in, you almost get this, again, like Christmassy, almost like a warm, it's not an apple note, of course, but this warm apple pie feel to the scent that's not too gourmand, right? You might think of gourmand scents when you think of like apple pie, but in a really nice way. And actually, the accord that they have here are red berries. Whatever that means. I mean, have you ever smelled raspberries or cherries? I don't think that where the actual fruits themselves have a very identifiable smell, but we all know kind of cherry, like from cough syrups and things like that. This doesn't smell anything like that. I can see where they're getting the red berries from, but really you still have that same kind of cinnamon, and they say tobacco accord, and I think they're right to say accord. It doesn't smell like a natural like leafy green tobacco. I think more so it kind of just supports the woody structure to the fragrance. In the end, we should be classified as kind of an aromatic woody scent with kind of these spices added in. So anyway, guys, first review of the year. I hope it was useful. I think this is worth a purchase. If you can get it for like $50-$60 for the smaller bottle. I don't know that I'd pay retail. There's so many fragrances competing these days. But it's still like if this is your kind of scent, definitely worth the price. And it's one that you can just go out and try, right? So I would try this multiple times because this was one of those that, like I said, I kind of overlooked and dismissed, and then came back to really liking it. It's not always the most complex, like intricate, beautiful scents on first impression that I end up wearing a lot. Sometimes they're actually too much on many occasions, and so it's these kinds of scents I think that have mass appeal and wearability, and so I would absolutely recommend this scent. Now we didn't talk, I guess, so much about the dry down. You do lose, I think, that beautiful accord in the beginning that I mentioned lasts maybe like 30 minutes or so, but it's kind of a gradual fade, and then eventually you're left with just a smooth, light vanilla aromatic smell, right? So again, it's a really pleasant thing to be smelling all day. It's not really going to be strongly projecting, which is expected for this scent. And yeah, so you kind of get what you expect. I'd recommend this. So let me know what you guys think, and I really look forward to the upcoming reviews. And again, let's hope I can keep this promise. I'll have more regular fragrance reviews and videos coming your way. All right, Happy New Year again, and see you in the next reviews. Bye.